Hello there, I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton, and I like Star Wars Battlefront's Fighter Squadron mode. I like it so much that it's the only mode I really play now, and because of that, I've got quite good at it. Not super Jedi good, but good enough to come close to the top of the scoreboards for almost every match. Anyway, if you've not got into Fighter Squadron yet, or are finding it a little tricky, I've got a few tips to share with you that might just help you become a better pilot. There are 6 starfighters to choose from in Fighter Squadron. On the side of the Rebels, you get the X-Wing, the A-Wing, and the hero ship, the Millennium Falcon. The Imperials get the TIE Fighter, the TIE Interceptor, and Boba Fett's Slave One as their hero ship. Each ship has a loadout of special, offensive and defensive items. The X-Wings and the A-Wings both come with a shield and a homing missile. The X-Wing's homing missile is a proton torpedo, while the A-Wings are packing concussion warheads. Those are slightly more powerful than the proton torpedoes, but they do have less range. The TIE Fighters, on the other hand, have identical loadouts. They both come with speed boosters and their version of the homing missiles, ion cannons.
Another rebel fighter down.
Out of the hero ships, the Falcon has shields, a boost and concussion warheads, while Slave One has proton torpedoes, ion cannons and a sensor jammer. Every ship will also fire lasers, but those will overheat after extended use, and, like the specials, are subject to cooldown times, so keep that in mind if you're attempting to take down multiple targets. The main thing you'll want to be doing when attacking is holding down the left trigger on your joypad. This activates the ship's lock-on systems, and they will auto-target the closest ship to your targeting reticule, as long as they're in range. Locking onto an enemy ship will send your lasers their way, and if you can successfully hold a lock for a short time, the proton torpedoes, ion cannons and the Falcon's concussion missiles will be able to home in on your target. Now, a common mistake I used to make was to try and keep the enemy craft dead centre on my screen. The area of effect for your ship's auto-aim is actually quite large, and it will do a lot of the targeting for you, as long as you keep your ship relatively steady. Once I'd figured this out, I started getting a load more kills at a much faster rate, and I found it easier to spot and avoid approaching hostiles because I wasn't getting tunnel vision from concentrating too hard on my target. The AI ships tend to be a lot weaker than the player-controlled craft, so try not to waste your homing missiles on them if you can. If you focus your laser fire on an AI opponent, you can normally finish them off with a steady barrage of shots before your guns overheat. Player-controlled ships can be trickier to destroy though. I favour wearing them down with my lasers until they overheat, and then I finish them off with a nice torpedo to the exhaust port.
Rebel ship annihilated.
The hero ships all lock on exactly the same way the standard ships do, but with the heroes you also have the added advantage of size. I've seen many people use their hero ships as battering rams, which, while rather cheap, is a very effective way to score insta-kills on your targets.
Enemy fighter is locked on you!
No one likes getting killed, not in real life or in video games, so here's how I avoid biting the bullet in Fighter Squadron. First up, as I mentioned before, the Rebels and the Imperials both have different types of defensive items, and this means you'll need to learn different ways of defending yourself depending on what side you're fighting on. Each Rebel ship and the Falcon comes equipped with a shield. It doesn't last very long, but if you trigger it when you hear a lock-on alert, it should stop all laser damage and significantly reduce the damage from homing missiles. For the TIEs, you have a boost but no shield, so if an enemy has you in their sights, you'll need to use that speed boost to get away from the danger. Try to keep as low to the ground as possible when running from enemies, that way missiles have a chance of striking the rocks and not you. Plus, you may be able to lose your pursuer amongst all the scenery. Up in the skies, it's much easier to be attacked from all angles. Slave One has the best defences. Its radar jammer will stop all craft from being able to lock onto it for a limited time, which is brilliant for stopping missile strikes and avoiding laser fire. Don't forget to use your D-pad as well. Pressing left, up or right will trigger an evasive manoeuvre, and if you time it for just when you hear the warning that a missile has been launched at you, you'll stand a good chance of avoiding it. Left or right on the D-pad allows you to do a barrel roll, but this still leaves you at the mercy of your attacker's laser cannons. That's why my favourite evasive manoeuvre is the Immelmann, which is activated by pressing up on the D-pad. It's great for avoiding missiles, but you can also use it to get above of and then behind your pursuer for some sweet, sweet payback. It may seem a bit crap, but if you want to score some speedy kills, the cooldown power-up is a must-have. There's nothing more annoying than having a perfect shot lined up, but then not being able to shoot because all your weapons are cooling down. So by grabbing this one, you can increase your kill count significantly. I try to aim for one of these as soon as I spawn, and you should too. The repair power-up is pretty self-explanatory. It replenishes about 50% of your ship's health, and you should be aiming to grab one as soon as you take damage. If you hear the emergency alarms going off, you're a couple of laser shots away from exploding, so make sure you get to a repair power-up ASAP, or you'll be space dust. Because both of these power-ups spawn close to the ground, I normally make a beeline for them while I'm running from enemies. That way I can avoid missiles and replenish my health at the same time. The third power-up, the hero token, is quite rare, but it will grant you a chance to pilot a hero ship, either the Falcon or Slave 1. The hero tokens appear at random, and there are 2 to 3 spawn points on each of the 4 maps, each one positioned in a hard-to-reach location. This is of course both a blessing and a curse. Because of the randomness, a lot of players will miss the token, so if you know what you're looking for, you've got a better chance of grabbing it. Bad news is it's very easy to crash while grabbing the hero token, especially if you're rushing to pick it up before someone else does. If you die before you turn into a hero ship, you'll lose the power-up for yourself, and it'll take a while for it to respawn, ultimately hurting your team as well. In Fighter Squadron, the winning team is the first to reach 200 points. You earn points for taking down AI ships and those piloted by human players. But if you really want to score big, you need to keep an eye out for the transport ships, which give you 10 times the points you'll get for killing a human opponent. Transport ships appear in phases, so between them appearing, feel free to go nuts and shoot as many bad guys as you want. But I've seen teams full of amazing pilots lose because they just plumb forgot about defending or attacking the transports. Attacking transports is rather easy, just pummel them with lasers and rockets as you approach, and then slow your ship right down, hang behind them and keep firing until they do a splosion. Chances are you'll take damage or get killed doing this, as you'll be a sitting duck, but in this case the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, so suck it up and get shooting that transport.
We just took down their transport.
Defending your team's transports can be a lot more difficult though, mainly because a lot of people just don't bother doing it, the selfish nerf herders. Stay a medium distance from your transport and shoot at any enemy that looks like it's about to sit behind it and do some damage. With a bit of luck, the transport will survive long enough to escape the map. If it does, give yourself a pat on the back because you've just stopped the opposing team earning a load of points.
Ship escaped. Good work.
So those were my Fighter Squadron tips. Hopefully you found something in there that'll help you be the best space ace this side of the Dagobah system. If you did, feel free to give the video a like and do subscribe for more from Eurogamer. Goodbye and may the force be with you.
Enemy fighter down.